If you want to be a part of the conversation before it happens here on YouTube, click that link in the description to join the free Courtside Financial Discord. What's going on, everyone? My name's Obi, and welcome back to the Courtside Financial Podcast, the podcast where we talk about business and technology. In today's episode, we're going to be unpacking Tesla's latest earnings report, and trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers before the year is over, but first we got to get to 8,000 subscribers, and we're about 20 subscribers away. Make sure you click the like button, the notification bell icon, and leave a comment down below. All your engagement truly does go a long way in helping out the channel, helping us to grow and reach a broader audience. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode of the Courtside Financial Podcast. You know, it's funny. Tesla has for the longest been the darling of Wall Street, the child that could do no wrong. But for 2024, it seems like gravity may have caught up with them. Let me paint a picture for you of what we're seeing. First off, let's discuss the elephant in the room. Tesla just reported their first year-over-year drop in deliveries. They delivered 1.77 million vehicles in 2024, down 2.2% from 2023. Now, as someone who follows the market very closely, and yes, I'm a neo-bull, but we try to keep things pretty objective here, this is a massive shift in the narrative. But here's where it gets really interesting. Tesla's Q4 deliveries dropped. And let's just say Elon Musk might need more than a few tweets to explain this one. They reported revenue of 25.7 billion, missing revenue by 1.5 billion US dollars. That's not a rounding error, folks. That's a clear signal that something's changing in the EV market. Let's dive into the Model 3 and Model Y numbers, because this is where rubber really meets the road. These are Tesla's bread and butter. They're mass market vehicles that are supposed to bring vehicles to the masses. In Q4, they delivered 471,930 of these vehicles. That sounds impressive, right? Well, the market expected 484,575. This miss tells us something crucial about the EV market. Competition is finally catching up. Think about it. When's the last time you drove down the street and didn't see an EV? And it doesn't always have to be a Tesla. It might be a Rivian. It might be a Polestar. It might be a Lucid. It might be a Hyundai Ioniq. The EV landscape is getting crowded, and Tesla's first mover advantage is starting to erode. Now, let's break down what I think is really happening here, because this is fascinating from a business perspective. Tesla's gross margins have literally halved since 2022. We're talking about 16.3% now, compared to double that just 2 years ago. And why? Because they're having to play the same game as everybody else in the EV market. Price wars. Here's something that'll really blow your mind. Tesla's gross profit in Q4 was $4.18 billion, down 6% year over year, and a whopping 16.3% from Q3. That's not just a trend, folks, it's a nosedive. And it brings us to what I call Tesla's triple threat problem. First threat is the incentive trap. Tesla's been slashing prices left and right to maintain market competitiveness. It's like they're stuck in a game of chicken with their own margins, and neither side is blinking. Second threat is the competitive squeeze. We're seeing that traditional automakers are finally starting to take EV more seriously, and they've got decades of manufacturing expertise, experience, and established supply chains. Third is regulatory uncertainty, and this is where things get interesting. Tesla's been living in two different forms of what I call fantasy fuel. First, they've been making bank on regulatory credits. We're talking $739 million in just Q3 of 2024. That's essentially free money from other automakers who aren't meeting emission standards. But here's the twist. With Trump back in office and talking about revoking California policies, that gravy train might just come to an end. Let me put this into perspective. That's almost $750 million in profit, literally just from selling pieces of paper. But what happens when that paper becomes worthless? This isn't even just about Tesla anymore. It's about the entire structure of environmental regulations in the automotive industry. Second, and this is where it gets really interesting, Tesla's stock price has been propped up by the robo-taxi dream. Elon's out here posting videos of cars driving themselves and making promises of autonomous taxis in Texas and California. But let's be real for a minute. Waymo, which is actually operating robo-taxis right now, even here in my state, Arizona, they had to jump through years and years of regulatory hoops just to get there. And speaking of regulation, let's talk about the Tesla, Texas, California triangle. See, Texas is practically rolling out the red carpet for Tesla's robo-taxi ambitions, but California is taking a more cautious approach. This creates a fascinating dynamic where Tesla might end up with a patchwork of different autonomous capabilities in different states. Imagine trying to scale a business model like that. Extremely challenging. But here's what I want all of you to really think about. Tesla just cut 10% of their global workforce while going balls to the wall on autonomy, as Musk put it himself. They're betting the farm on self-driving technology when their core business is, at the very moment that their core business is starting to show some cracks. Let me put this into perspective. Tesla's gross margin right now is at 16.6%. And if you strip out those regulatory credits, it's actually at 13.6%. That's a 350 basis point drop from last quarter. In the auto industry, that's not a gentle slope. That's a falling cliff. And here's something that's contrarian to my beliefs, but what if the market starts to view tech companies and car companies as things that have to be mutually exclusive? Tesla and many other companies have been trying to have it both ways, enjoying tech company multiples while dealing with automotive market realities. Anyways, let's talk about market dynamics for a moment. Tesla's deliveries were up 7% from Q3, which sound great actually until you realize that that's only 2.28% higher from that same period last year. In the high growth world of EVs, that's practically standing still. And here's a thought for you. What if Tesla's regulatory credit income goes away at the same time that they need to continue to invest heavily in autonomous technology? That's not just a perfect storm. That's a Category 5 hurricane heading straight for their income statements. Now, I'm not saying Tesla is done or far from it. Tesla's a company that I'm bullish on. I'm not invested in it. Well, actually, I'm invested in it probably through some ETFs. And I'm a fan of the company. But we can't forget that Tesla is still delivering nearly 500,000 vehicles per quarter. I also think that right now we're witnessing a crucial moment in Tesla's story. Some are saying that this could be the moment where they transition from a high growth tech company to a car company. And let's just talk about the margins because they're very different. Now, I am of the belief that this new world of cars, the companies that are going to survive have to be tech companies and car companies. So hopefully that's not the case, but that is a possibility, especially with all of the factors at play around them. So looking ahead in 2025, I'll be watching a lot of things. One of those is the regulatory income credits. That would definitely be something that affects that narrative and the direction that Tesla goes in. Number two is their progress on autonomous driving. Not just the technological progress, but regulatory approval. Number three is margin stability. Can they find a floor or are they going to have to keep falling? And four is obviously competitive response. How will other EV manufacturers adjust their strategies under these global market conditions? Before we wrap up, here's my big takeaway. Watch Tesla's regulatory credit income like a hawk in 2025. If Trump follows up on his threats to change emission rules and those credits dry up, Tesla's going to have to make some more profit somewhere else. And in an EV market that's getting more competitive by the day, that's absolutely no small task. Anyways, the next few quarters are going to be crucial. We're either going to see Tesla successfully navigate this situation and emerge more successful than they ever were, or we might be witnessing the slowing down of a growth story that's captivated Wall Street for a decade. Anyways, that's it for this episode of the Courtside Financial Podcast. I hope you found it useful, valuable, insightful, at the very least entertaining. If it was any of those things, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, notification bell icon, and leave a comment down below. We'll see you in the next episode of the Courtside Financial Podcast. Thanks for watching.